Deal.
Green New Deal. You know, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has come up with this, and she's endorsed Bernie Sanders, and so my hope is that these two team up together. Either way, it would be great. But yeah, we need a Green New Deal. Otherwise, the planet Earth is just gonna go like the dinosaurs. We're just gonna destroy the planet, and not enough people seem to care enough to save the planet. It's just we need to get off fossil fuels. We need to we need to. I mean, if I was Bernie or Liz, or if I was president of the United States, I would make it like 1969 or 1963. I think President John Kennedy says, before the end of this decade, we will put a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. Well, why can't we do that for building hybrids? Why can't we say by the end of this decade, we're going to make a lot of hybrids and we're going to make them affordable. We're going to figure out a way to not make them cost so much so that everybody can buy a hybrid. I mean, that's what I would do. That, to me, that would be better than putting a man on the moon. Well, of course, I love Apollo 11, and I think it was a great triumph for humanity, but we need to worry about our home here.
We need our resources really poured into this thing.
Yes.
Trying to reverse this
yes.
Horrible global warming, which...
yeah, we're having wars over oil. Hello. It's like...
We need to shift off an oil economy. We've known that for many, many years. But the problem is you have these oligarchs, and that's why someone said gaslighting oligarch your party. I thought it was pretty good, because they're oligarchs that are controlling the Republican Party. You can rant and rave about the Democrats, corporate Democrats, and
dinos, Democrats in name only.
But there's no comparison in terms of the viciousness and the extent to which the Republican Party is holding us back to, so that their cronies, the people that fund them, can rake in more and more money without making progress on the global warming thing. So we need to get them out of there. We need to get them out of office. But for the fascists that are running the White House, we cannot wait until the 2020 elections.
No.
It's just so dangerous what Trump is doing.
Yes, and don't forget his betrayal of our allies, the Kurds. Oh my God. He allows... what a clusterfuck that is. Turkey is our ally, a member of NATO. The Kurds were our ally against ISIS, right? So now one of our allies is fighting another ally of ours, and we betray the ally that did the most to defeat ISIS. I am just so disgusted by this. And the Turks, our ally, the NATO ally, came in there and slaughtered the Kurds. And then a couple days later, Trump says we're going to put troops back in Syria to protect the oil fields. My God. What's wrong with this picture?
It's pretty horrible. I would call it treason, because basically the Kurds were our allies, we betrayed them, we betrayed ourselves because we needed them to hold ISIS in check.
Yes.
And ISIS they are the worst terrorists behind.
Yeah, but let's not forget that it was our policy that created ISIS in the first place.
And going back to George W. Bush, exactly.
Or George H. Bush, allying us into the first Iraq War.
First Iraq War,
putting a military base in Saudi Arabia, angering terrorist cells that would attack us in 9/11, thus giving George W. an excuse to do all this. Launch the Afghan occupation, launch Iraq War II, and now here we are, Syria. And now here we are, Yemen, being bombed by one of the worst terrorist countries in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. And our tax dollars are going to do that.
There's so many bad things going on in the world. And they're distractions, though, from the fact that we really need to get these fascists out of the White House.
As soon as possible.
Exactly. That's why we have to ask people, beg them if necessary, come out to the streets, to the protests that you see out there. There are many groups.
Many groups. Refuse Fascism.
Refuse Fascism.
Revolution Club. We Can't Wait Until 2020 Club. The Answer Chicago. What's some more? There's a bunch of them. Reclaim Chicago. Revolution Now Club. There's just a bunch of Friends Who March is another one. and then you can also join canvassing groups. There's one right here in this particular neighborhood.
Indivisible has been
Right.
anti-Trump.
Yes.
But
They're kind of like an offshoot of the Democratic Party.
Events more infrequently. But
Yes.
the Refuse Fascism group has been calling for an event every Saturday, 1 p.m. at Millennium Park.
Yes.
And this is because they want to emulate what has happened in other countries that have really been able to get their leaders out when they're guilty of criminality, like in South Korea, when the Gwen Young or something like that, I forgot her exact name, but she was
they were awesome.
a corrupt leader, and
Yes.
they were able to get her out by having protests. It started with just every Saturday.
Well, it's going on in Hong Kong right now.
Hong Kong has been very strong as far as protesting the attempt to make it possible to just deport anybody from Hong Kong to the mainland, which was going against the agreement that the Chinese had, that it was supposed to be two systems, one country, two systems. But they're the Hong Kong people are not putting up with that, and they're very strong in protesting virtually every day, I think, Batman.
China terrifies me.
It should terrify anybody. I mean, I wouldn't want to live in China.
No.
Thank goodness we aren't quite at that point yet, but they are in control of the internet, they're in control of the media. If we ever get to that point, right now we have Fox News that's basically
Propaganda for the extreme right wing.
Yeah.
Well, what's great about America is that we're having this conversation right now without intimidation, at least to this point. And when we go out to when protesters are being arrested in Hong Kong, okay, you and me go out every Saturday to protest, and the cops are there to protect us. So I'm sorry, we live in a country, again, the cops are not perfect either. Once in a while, they do horrible things. But the point is, that I'm trying to make, is that this is not like Iran. This is not like China. This is not like Saudi Arabia. We still have our First Amendment right, correct?
This is the point, and we have to
preserve it.
Use it before we lose it.
And preserve it.
Yes. If it gets taken away from us, there isn't going to be anybody like in World War II when we rescued the French, along with the British. We rescued the French and the other countries in Western Europe.
Yes. Our last justified war.
The French are not going to come across the Atlantic Ocean to rescue us from Trump and Pence if they have solidified their power.
Yeah.
They're not going to
Interesting point, Robin.
We have to do it ourselves.
Right. Interesting point, Robin.
Is getting a little bit...
I just got a phone call from Chief O'Hara and the commissioner from Gotham City, and they said that we need to get the troops ready. We need to do this next Saturday, all across the USA, not just in Gotham City or Chicago, but also in Rhode Island, in St. Louis.
How about Texas?
We need to do it in the South too.
How about Utah?
We absolutely. I mean, Seattle, everywhere. Los Angeles, Sacramento, Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Now the thing is like it looks like we're moving toward another civil war. Not necessarily states versus states, but lunatics versus normal people. Lunatic gun nuts fighting what is their gun nuts, you know.
Gun nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've had to deal with those gun nuts.
Yeah, and it's like Trump and Pence are like this with the NRA. I mean, because it's because of blood money.
Well, Russia funneled a ton of money through the NRA to the Republican Party, and this is another scandal that nobody even talks about. It's unbelievable. It's certainly skirting campaign finance laws, and when you get down to it, I mean, the NRA is nothing but a disruptive force in our society in